Why is that?
To mute your laptop.
I can't hear anything.
I'm left.
So turn down her.
No, it's not working. Here, mute that.
Where's the
I don't know if you guys can hear me or if it matters, but I also can't see the rest of council. So maybe it has something to do with that setting. That camera's not on.
All right. Oh, it's hi, Brian. Bye. Did that work? No. That was great thing. Carla. I am the bus. He was Corey. I think I just did it. Yeah. I think I just did it. No,
I think good.
Testing 1, 2. No, your computer's.
Try again. See?
Under your name. Yes, that's it. Okay, now try. That works, right?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, that was it. This button right here. So that would be.
Can you hear me now? Good.
You know what I just hit minus instead of hitting the circle with the X. That's the problem.
Thanks for recording. Yes.
It's all alive and open. Thank you.
You are live.
We're back to the roll call. Here. Council Vice President. Here. Council President.
Here.
Here. Right, we have no presentations tonight. I just have a very brief report. I just want to thank Robin publicly for all the work she did to make Sunday's event a huge success. I want to thank the police. I certainly want to thank the DPW, which nobody thanked on Sunday. To every member of council out here was there and present, and it was a wonderful, wonderful event. I wish they had picked a different time and date without so much competition with graduations and church. And there was a massive Revolutionary War event up at Proprietary House for Fanboy simultaneous, but just so that more people could have experienced it. But this is an important new important piece of Flemington history, and of Huntington and Revolutionary War history. And it went off basically without a hitch, including the rain. And Robin, just very appreciative of you. I can honestly say, following all the emails, that it would never have had the outcome had you not been involved. So that's my only. I should just add that I did contact Senator Zwicker today regarding the $250,000 earmark for the police building to make sure it's still in the budget. He was pretty confident it was. He was going to check tomorrow. The state budget has to be approved by July 1st under state law. And then the governor will have 48 hours to review it and make line item changes. Hopefully it's going to stay. I let him know that the governor's office was out here a couple weeks ago. And hopefully that will, that's going to happen. On the agenda tonight, there is the acceptance of the $32,000 from the county. That's the first part. We're supposed to get additional money for the police building from them. This is the money to pay for the handicap bathroom upstairs. It will finish the first floor completely. The county sent me the contract this past Monday, a week ago today, required to have it submitted and signed to them by Friday of last week. So unfortunately, this is being approved by the council for me to sign and accept it late. I apologize. I had nothing to do with the timing. It's not the way I like to do things. So, okay, so that's it. Can I have, Council President, do you have a report?
I do. I have a few items. So police, I know that I'm going to sound like a broken record, but there was a shoplifting at Ulta this past Thursday. $500 worth of merchandise was taken and 2 suspects were arrested.
Oh, they got them this one.
Yep. Once again, there was a theft of Flemington Power Sports on Saturday morning. Yep.
How many does that make?
I'm sorry, Jeremy. Can we note that Malik Johnson has joined the Zoom?
I'm sure the
Whatever
clerk knows that. Go ahead.
I think this is the third such incident.
It's the 3rd or 4th this year.
Okay. It's next to the I don't know, 22 or 202. Oh. So 2 UTVs, these are what are referred to as side-by-sides. These are recreational all-terrain vehicles, and 1 4-wheeler were stolen. The total value of these items is $60,000.
That's just from Power Sports?
Yep. So contact the emergency line at 908-782-3434 if there's an issue you need to report to the department, and of course for real emergencies, dial 911. Courts, I had a chance to meet our shared court administrator, Bianca Watkins. Right now, they're working on getting everything organized in the office, but things are going well. Berlin joins Alexandria, Raritan, Holland Township, and other municipalities for the shared service that is producing court fees. Main fees have been accounted for, and Ms. Watkins is squaring away the previous month's work. Like I said, things are transitioning well. There's an auditor visiting there on June 29th. And again, just the Sunday event was pretty amazing. Councilwoman Engelhardt, Councilman Parker, Councilwoman Tilley, and the mayor attended the Jacob Francis Gravesite Memorial, and it was just a great piece of history to understand and have in this town. And that is my report.
Thank you, Council Vice President Tilley.
All right. So I had an HPC meeting, DPW fire officers meeting, as Council President Long mentioned. I attended the Jacob Francis ceremony at the Baptist Church. It was very moving to, especially hear the last speaker, Noah. What's his last name?
I can't remember his last name, but he's really
Lewis. Speak. I mean, he was very engaging, and a lot of what he said made me do a lot of hard thinking. So I just want to thank Robin for bringing forth and keeping the Flemington history alive in a very different way. And then my big thing is fireworks, 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 fireworks. We are having fireworks on Tuesday, July 3rd. They should start around 9 o'clock or at dusk. A rain date is July 5th. We will also have a DJ and Rita's Ice. And a special thank you to Northfield Bank for sponsoring the fireworks. That's it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Rossetti, do you have a report?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, just brief today. I wanted to extend a thank you to Dave Giuliani, our code enforcement officer. He's been dealing with a lot of things around town, 2 locations with improper signage on Main Street, 4 properties regarding lawn complaints. He's addressed several properties regarding an abandoned property ordinance. And then Shade Tree, their next meeting is July the 12th. They have had several adopted tree applications, so that program is going well. They're working on community forestry plan and reviewing planning board plans. So all good things. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Parker.
Yeah, gonna have Robin speak in a minute, but let me talk about a couple of things. One is the newsletter is officially going to be launched. I'm sorry, Sharon. The newsletter is officially going to be launched on August 28th. I am trying to get a face-to-face meeting with all the committees. Liz, I need you to reach out to me about Shade Tree and the other committees you're on. Kim, thank you so much for inviting me to HCP, and Susan for planning board tomorrow. So it's just really important to get in front of each one of the committees so that we can lay out exactly what this is about and what we need from them. So I will continue down that road. Speaking of which, and by the way, I'm going to get the Chamber of Commerce involved as well. So I really want this to be a community paper, and it's only about the community, and there's no politics or anything like that involved, or any controversial types of things involved. It's just really about us and all the great things that goes on in this community.
May I ask you a question?
You can ask me too, but make them.
Did you ask our department heads for submissions?
No, I have not yet.
Okay.
I was going to talk to you about
Okay,
that.
very good.
Remember we had
Yes.
that conversation?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. I sat in on a meeting with NAACP, which I've been trying to make for the last 6 months, and I finally made one. And they are doing some phenomenal things. And so one of the goals here is to get them ingrained into the community here. They really want to be. I talked to Robin about this. We're going to do some outreach with them and the businesses. They're very, very, very open to being engaged, and just the educational things they're doing in the schools is just amazing. And I don't think anybody knows about them. And so we want to shout those out. Speaking of which, I am working on a forum for both for the general population, but also for this Latino Hispanic community and the NAACP, along with the mayor and the council, because I think we need to hear. I did one last year, but I think you just need to hear what people have to say. And it's not always negative. I think when you hear about these groups, you always think negative. It's not negative. It's about, here's how we need to be recognized, or here's how we would like to participate. So I think it's a good thing that we all just sit and listen to them and offer up some things. They're willing to sit on committees and things like that. So that's a good thing. I know what I wanted to say is on the beautification. So Jeremy and I talked about this not too long ago, and the only reason I have not done anything with beautification is because I'm trying to figure out what does that actually mean. So I think one of the things is, I said to Jeremy, I think I need to define what that's really going to be. And what I see that as is, I'd like to get the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, and athletic teams involved in helping with cleanup and planting and things like that. So we're a little bit too late to do it in the summer, but fall is coming, and that's when leaves fall and things like that have to be done. So I think it'd be great. I also like to put something around that for Christmas time in the whole bit. So I know that on the FCP board, we had actually talked about doing something with outreach for the students in the whole bit and having it as something that we give, and then we need you to help us with this. So that we are working on. I really want to work on that this summer. And I think, Robin, phenomenal job as well. And I did meet with the pastor, who is the world is this big and this small. So we both are Midwesterners. She grew up in Chicago. I lived in Chicago when I was a kid. So we just started, and she lives in Princeton. I lived in Princeton. So it's just amazing. So I want to get her connected with the business community as well. I think there's a lot to say there. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. The last thing I will say is I'd like to get the seniors involved in the newsletter as well. And I'd like to get them involved in terms of some outreach and some programs that are available to them that they may not know about. So again,
I have a contact for you with the senior center from the county.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So, I mean, I know we're going to meet over this anyway, so we can talk about all that. But I'm trying to reach and pull everybody in. I don't want this to be just these people are talking in this. I want everybody to be involved. So that's it for me. I thank you. And then I just need to give Robin some couple of minutes. Can you just give us 3 things that you want to?
Well, can we wait until after the council?
Sure. We can do that. Okay.
I'll get her up under
Okay. Good. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Johnston, we see you're here. You have a report?
Hi, thank you, Mayor. I have no report this week. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Engelhardt?
Thank you, Mayor. Let's see, yes, Tony mentioned that he'll be attending the planning board meeting tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Same place as we're sitting right now. As usual, the public hearing for what, thank you, sorry. Is that better? Okay, the planning board meeting is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock right here. The public hearing for what commonly known as a spice factory is on the agenda, as well as the PO zone ordinance review that the subcommittee has been working on. Marcia and I have been working on that along with the rest of the planning board subcommittee. I did want to add on the fireworks in that I think I had sent Carla if we could get that information on the website, the date and time and the Facebook page, that would be great. I wanted, as far as schools go, I just wanted to recognize last week was graduation for both school districts and for her son. My son, yes. But all the graduates, it was really great to see everybody. And more importantly, the rain held off for the high school district, which was a big deal in that way. Councilman Long didn't get wet during graduation, but I was very excited for all the graduates last week, especially that they got to enjoy that outside. So congratulations to all of them. I also attended the Jacob Francis ceremony on Sunday, and really was fantastic. I had spoken about in the past historic tourism, and specifically, if anybody knows me, they know I am a national park nerd, and I was really excited to talk to the woman who's in charge of the Crossroads of the American Revolution National Trail there. She was one of the presenters.
Valley Lane.
Yes, and we spoke afterwards. I had approached them in the past to try to collect information about us being on one of the stops on the official trail as that gets going. So she and I have a conversation scheduled for later to follow up with how we can really incorporate some additional historic tourism to our already great historic district. I think that's really important for Flemington in particular. And then finally, Maureen, I understand, is starting tomorrow, and I'm just anxious to check in with her in regards to the dog licenses now that Allison is retired, and we will miss her. And then finally, I just once again.
She's here till the end of the week, isn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, she wasn't here on Friday, so I
Okay,
guess
she's transitioning, she's
Yeah.
transitioning Maureen.
I honestly assumed she was gone. I didn't see her Friday, but thank you for that. So I will want to wish Allison a fantastic retirement because she was a really great employee here and asset to the borough. Thank you. And then finally, my last statement is I would once again, I know this is kind of a broken record, but I once again call for Councilman Johnston to resign.
That's it. Thank you. So I don't have, we didn't have presentation made.
Excuse me, Marsha, I have a correction to my, sure. I just want to, again, thank you to Corporal McNally who realized that I said Tuesday, July 3rd, but the fireworks are on Monday, July 3rd, as Tuesday is July 4th. And people have asked, why don't we have the fireworks on July 4th? Because we don't have an extra $250,000 sitting around the house on the 4th. We have them on the 3rd with the rain date of the 5th. Right.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
They want us to donate it.
They can afford.
Number 8 on the agenda is administrators report. We're gonna make that. We got to take that off, and right now we're going to make it the administrator of the FCP's report. So if you want to take a couple minutes and just give us a little update.
Love this.
Little update.
A
Please.
little update.
Please. We all want to get out of here before the big rain hit.
Do I need to use this mic?
Yes.
Well, okay, so I'd like to call your attention to the NewJersey.com article about the Sip and Stroll that says that the Sip and Stroll is bringing cheer to Stangle Road, but also that it's connecting the arts to economic development. And it's a fabulous article. It's very, very long and it has great pictures. So don't just look at the pictures, please read the article.
Could you stand over there? Maybe you could address them and we could also hear.
I am supposed to address them.
I have, but I would like to hear what you're saying.
Okay, maybe we'll just fix the mic. I apologize for having my.
One of those two on your desk, Chris.
That was.
Give her one of the ones on you. Is that working?
Okay.
Okay.
I got this.
It's working. Okay.
Is that working?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. So anyway, but what I really want to point out is that the reason why the Sip and Stroll works is because it is businesses in a contiguous area who are working together to be open at the same exact time. And with changing themes monthly, but doing what each business does best on their own. And they're bringing ideas. It's really fabulous. It is much harder to have that. And there's alcohol. Let's just be clear. There is the economic driver of beer and whiskey and sangria on Stangle Road, in addition to some arts. So we really can't wait for Main Street to not be under construction and to have more activity there. But, and we did have a fabulous sidewalk sale in the rain, you know, where everyone really put out a great effort. So our goal is to try to do things regularly. And I think the more the community supports, the more the press supports, the more the businesses find fun and an ability to work with each other and not rely so much on me to, you know, come and bring the fun. It's really starting to take off, and I'm very encouraged by that. But I really encourage everybody here and listening to help support them and tell them that, you know, you see what they're doing and you appreciate it. This weekend was a fabulous event. It was absolutely a team effort. I've been told that I have to respectfully not make the police my event planners, and I totally understand what they mean, because, but the brilliant thing is, the brilliant Corporal McNally said, you know, why don't we move this event from the cemetery to the front, and we'll close the street. And it was just the perfect solution, the perfect suggestion. It fixed every issue we were having with how we're going to do this. So we're a village, you know, and it really, everybody has to be on the same team. That event was so successful because we were all new working together, but we're on the same team. We all wanted it to be fabulous, and really it was. So
Main Street. You faced Main Street.
not just on Main Street, but on beautiful land in beautiful property.
Yeah, he was talking about the houses. And
Yes.
things like that. I thought that was
They
really good.
lived, Jacob and Mary Frances lived on the church's property. You know, they worked across the street. I mean, they were as there as they could ever possibly be. And we were there, you know, where they lived. We are so lucky. We have an embarrassment of riches in that regard, of stories and buildings and trees and all kinds of other things. And this is a dress rehearsal for 2026, because in 2026, the national news in the world is going to be looking in our direction for heritage tourism. So that plaque, which was really like the first plaque, not a historical marker, but an interpretive panel, is #1. And, you know, if we can use our resources, work together, find the right stories, tell the right stories, it'll be very easy for people to see why we're so special. So we have a lot of work to do, but I feel very, very encouraged. And then next, I just want to say that unfortunately, we did not get the AARP grant. They sent us a lovely note that we were one of 3,600 applicants who were also small towns that need help. And standing at the intersection of Church and Main and trying to cross, and, you know, hoping that there would be some beeping or tweaking or noise that would say now time to walk. You know, that is a place where seniors come to cross, to come to Main Street, and we definitely need to apply for those grants and make sure that we're making our streets really accessible and safe for everybody, so that everyone can come to events. And that's it.
Robin, can I ask one question?
Sure.
So is your way to do a campaign about that? So we constantly let you know, whether it's to civic, whether it's to whatever. I'm just wondering if we just keep like talking about it and talking about it. You think that?
I think a wish list of, you know, a big town wish list of where we want to, you know, what are our goals, what are our values, what do we need to keep our eyes on. I think we have most of those thoughts, but they're maybe not as organized. And, you know, the AARP grant comes around every time. This council, the one that's here right now, wrote that resolution, which is really the first step to getting a grant, is that you have a commitment to seniors. So we do have that. And I think, you know, we rushed to try to say what we could use. So I think we shouldn't rush. We should just know what we really need and plan for it. And as you do your budgeting, and you know what you need, and then you have plans for when you can make those fixes, or what grants will help. Thank you.
Robert, I just want to make one comment about the success of the Sip and Stroll, and your comment that, you know, all the businesses are committed, that they're open at the same time. For 50 years, my father tried to get Main Street open on Thursday and Friday nights as an established shopping district. And other than between Black Friday, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, where they all agreed to stay open on Friday nights, it was never achieved. Nobody wanted to do it. It is a very, very hard thing to do, to get businesses to agree to stay open late. And it is one of the remarkable and one of the main reasons why these things are so successful is because the Stengel businesses totally embrace it.
I'm encouraged, as I said, the businesses that have taken the lead on the sidewalk sales are really working together.
Yes, they are.
So, but again, it's just that it's what we talk about in planning, and what should be out for. If if you have to walk 5 blocks between shops, you know, if you, as David Dixon, a different planner says, people will walk as far as they think there's something to go walk to. And if they don't see it, they won't bother to.
And the more people that participate in those sidewalk sales, the more successful every business participating in the sidewalk sales will be.
So we have, so just FYI, it's every 4th Saturday. However, July is a 2-day sale. It's Saturday and Sunday, the 22nd and the 23rd. And October is the 7th and 8th, which is what's that?
Columbus Day.
Columbus Day weekend. So, you know, the businesses pick those dates themselves. And I think that we will try to add in more food, like just a little more food, not too much, and some music to make it more exciting for everybody who, you know, who maybe doesn't just want to shop, but wants to be entertained too.
Thank you so much, Robin. We're now on to public comment session number 1. Anybody from the public here in the room who has a comment? Ms. Stewart, you want to just come up and give us your name and address or?
Okay.
It's live, hon. Might have blown it out, but okay.
Okay, a few things. First of all, the Sunday thing at the Baptist Church was.
Can you say your name, please?
Oh, certainly. You don't know who I am.
I guess I'll learn.
Yeah, Lois Stewart. Lois L-Y-S-S-T-E-W-A-R-T. The gentleman.
Yeah, would you do us a favor, just sit down so you can talk into the mic?
You want me to sit down?
I do want you to sit down. I want you to relax.
It's hard in this room to relax. The gentleman who did the flag salute was superb, and then he did a second act as telling the story. And if you didn't see it, you really missed something great. And February is Black History Month. I think somehow we should get that man. He lives outside of Philadelphia. I talked to him a little bit. Somehow we should get him to come here and do something, not just about Jacob Francis, but he was so, I don't know. Yes, he was. He was wonderful. So I'm suggesting that maybe next February we could do something for Black History Month, and we would get that guy here because he was fantastic. So whoever got him here, thank you. I wanted to ask a couple of questions about things that are on the agenda tonight. First of all, we're getting a new police officer. Is that a replacement?
It is a replacement. We had an officer leave in very early February. And after a lot of due diligence and work by Chief and Council President, Police Commissioner Long, they've identified this young man who is also Spanish speaking, which is imperatively important to this municipality.
I just want to make sure.
It's
okay, and the other thing, I don't know why we're giving the shopping bags to the Hillsborough Reformed Church when we have the Flemington Baptist Church that does Memorial Day meals to the people here, Christmas meals. They do senior lunches, and if people can't come to the church, they send them out in bags.
Put them on the resolution as well, and just the corporal is getting rid of them for us. We need the space immediately. There are thousands of them that nobody wanted. And
Rossetti is the lady that runs senior lunches, and she goes around and begs bags from different places.
I'll reach out to her this week and
Last time,
form up.
the last time we had it. And then there's the Catholic Church. I think it's the Catholic Church over on whatever that road is that goes off of 202. They do the Thanksgiving dinner, and they have meals go out. And I just would like to see, I have nothing against Hillsborough, but I do think
we just need them out of here.
You know, thank you. I wanted to ask Susan, do we know that the Spice Factory hearing is going to happen, or is it just on the agenda? All I can say is that it's on the agenda. I haven't received anything that says that it's going to be extended again, but as you know, they have until, that time to, and then it can be rolled in. So. Have they presented new plans? Have you seen new plans?
The councilman and I are recused, so
yeah, I wouldn't.
We aren't even either of us.
There's been no statement that they requested an extension or anything. Okay, and I want to thank whoever got that horrible sign on Bloomfield Avenue taken away. Thank you, Sam. It was Dave
Giuliani.
Oh, yes, it was Dave Giuliani.
It was awful.
Yep, thank you, Ms. Stewart. Anybody online who has their hand up for comments? Seeing none, we have any minutes to approve? We don't have a consent agenda either, so we're moving on to the regular agenda. Number one on the regular agenda is authorizing an arrangement with the Borough of Frenchtown and Borough of Lebanon regarding street sweeping. This is something that the borough has done in the past. Those municipalities are being charged an hourly rate town to town for the use of our sweeper. Can I have is there a second?
Long second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Johnston.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hubert.
Yes.
Council Vice President Tilly.
Yes.
And Council President.
Yes.
Number two on the agenda is hiring of Police Officer Christian J. Maida. Council President, anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I like to, whenever we hire an officer, I like to just give a little quick heads up to everybody. So yeah, as the mayor had stated earlier this year, we had an officer abruptly resign, so we needed to fill in that position. And after some time and some work, some really hard efforts by the chief, we were able to locate an individual who we all felt would fit in very nicely. Christian Maida will be coming to us on July 5th from Camden, where he's been an officer for about half a year. And what most impressed me was that he had done his research about Flemington. He wants to work in Flemington. One of the first things he said was, you got a lot of history here. And he very positive attitude. I think, he's gonna fit in well. And once again, we have another officer who will be bilingual, which is absolutely important. And that's it.
Thank you so much. Can I have a motion to approve the hiring of Christian J. Maida? Engelhardt moves. Is there a second?
Long second.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Johnston.
She needs to
Yes.
abstain from this.
Abstain.
Thank you.
Councilman Parker.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilwoman Engelhardt.
Yes.
Council Vice President Tilly.
Yes.
And Council President.
Absolutely yes.
The next item on the agenda is resolution appointing Carla Connor as Flemington Borough Registrar and Maureen McViver, who will be starting tomorrow as Deputy Registrar. I'm not sure the borough has done this in the past, but it is required by the state of New Jersey to formally appoint, and it really should be done by resolution. Right? They require one now. Can I have a motion to approve?
Tilly will move.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Johnston.
Yes.
Councilman Parker.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilwoman Engelhardt.
Yes.
Council Vice President Tilly.
Yes.
And Council President.
Yes.
Number 4 is awarding the Borough of Flemington a grant in the amount of $32,000 for the Flemington Police Station ADA compliant public bathroom for the spending period of January 1, 2023 through December 31st, 2024. As I stated earlier, this was sent Monday with the requirement to turn it around by last week. It's Friday, so it is being done after the fact, and I apologize for that. Can I have a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Long second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Johnston.
Yes.
Councilman Parker.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilwoman Engelhardt.
Yes.
Council Vice President Tilly.
Yes.
And Council President.
Yes.
Number 5, a resolution declaring the remaining reusable shopping bags as surplus and authorizing the donation of the bags to the Hillsborough Reformed Church or other churches. We can amend that on the fly. I don't think it's fine. It's a minor change. Can I have a motion to adopt?
Tilly move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Parker,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Engelhardt,
Yes.
Council Vice President Tilly,
Yes.
Council President Long.
Yes.
Thank you. We have no work session. We're on public comment session 2. Anybody in the audience and from the public wishing to say anything? How about online? Anybody online, Carla? Before we get before we get off this main part on July 1st, I think Councilwoman Engelhardt announced this 2 weeks ago. There is a ribbon cutting party celebration of the community garden on July 1st from 4 to 7 p.m. I know that our attorney has been playing a lot of phone tag with the chair of their board, Jess Hand, to tweak the new MOU, which gives them a little bit more protection, throw a little bit more knowledge, but you know, it's the document does not allow us to just throw them out without a lot of warning, which I think is, you know, they really need those kinds of protection from government. So I was hoping to have that on the agenda tonight, but because I really want the community garden not-for-profit to have the chance and opportunity to review and weigh in and work with our attorney, it's going to be delayed until July 10th. We do have their insurance certificate, which is the only thing that, you know, I think is significant and important before they have that event and while they have people working over there. It's over in Tucker Morgan Park. And that ribbon cutting is open to the public, Lois, and they have, you know, games and food and whatever. So we don't have any bills to pay tonight.
No,
Bill Hans was on vacation last week. I'm sure we'll have a boatload in 2 weeks. So we do have an executive session on 2 topics tonight. Negotiations, Cardinal and contract negotiations, cannabis license. Can I have a motion to approve going into the executive session?
Tilly move.
All in favor? Aye. Right. Yes.
Who is Cardinal?
Cardinal is the Agway Mill building. And there will be no action taken afterwards at all. It's just an update. So everybody wants to clear out. And we can go into